Hey everybody, Jam Creates here. Finally getting around to doing my review of Graveyard Shift. I know it's been a while since I did the unboxing. Stuff's been a little crazy around these parts, so you have to just bear with me on this. I've got a whole mess of reviews coming over the next few days, new comic reviews and stuff. So just be prepared for that. So anyway, this is Graveyard Shift by John Malin and Mark Poulton. You can see right here, we'll do my usual. Here is the credits, story and writer Mark Poulton, story and artist John Malin. So they obviously contributed together to create the story, and then Mark wrote the script. Colors by Anthony George and letters by Eric Weathers. And one of my previous videos, the unboxing video, I was questioning what the heck this blank square is for, apparently, and John Malin cleared this up for me on Twitter. But just in case anyone didn't see, this is for sketches. There was a tier with like sketches in there. That's what this was for. He was going to do like a head sketch or something in there on one of the higher tiers. So there you go. Even though I tried to see if it glowed in the dark, I was going to buy a black light to see if there was a hidden thing in there. But we'll see. I mean, who knows in the future? Maybe I gave some people ideas now for things to include in the future. So anyway, we jump in. Again, I'm going to try and keep this spoiler-free. I try to like to keep these things spoiler-free because I'm sure there's still some people out there who haven't gotten theirs yet, or maybe they've just gotten it and haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. So I certainly don't want to ruin it for them. So I'm going to try and be as spoiler-free as possible. You know, it can be tough, but I'll do my best. First and foremost, let's just get right to the meat of the matter here. The book itself, the quality of the print is really great. It feels like a quality book, and I love I don't know if you would call that a scoring or whatever it is on there that allows you to turn the cover and it doesn't like warp the book or anything. I mean, obviously, the more you read it, the more that's going to go. But you know, the comic books are meant to be read. I've always felt that way, and I always will feel that way. If you buy comics and don't read them, what the hell are you doing? But anyway, so moving on. In fact, I always used to say when I was a kid, I wanted to make a book, because this was during the 90s when the investors used to piss me off because they would buy up all the copies of like big landmark issues, and then I would go to the store to try and buy the same issue because I wanted to read it, and I couldn't get it because it would be sold out in the store because of all the investors were buying them all up. I used to always say, if I ever became a comic book creator, I want to make a landmark issue, and in the previous issue, I want to let all the normal readers know, don't buy it, and then I was going to put it out pre-bagged, because they would do that back in the day. I was going to put it out pre-bagged, and it literally was just going to be blank. There was going to be nothing inside of it. But then I thought about it, and I realized that it would still wind up being worth money someday, so the investors would still win out in the end. There really is no way to combat that, other than what the comic industry has done now, which is just make comics worthless. That was the only way to foil the investors, I guess, is to make comics that aren't worth reading and aren't worth anything. Okay, so anyway, let's get to this. Graveyard Shift, I love this cover. It's just it's simple. It's just a logo and whatever, but it's just really cool. It pops. It's nice. So anyway, we get into it, and you know, I try not to, I don't know, I feel like giving plot details is a little weird, but I still kind of have to. So we started in Castle Dracula, and we've got the interesting thing, the conceit of this book. Let's just jump into that first of all. Is it's basically like the classic monsters that you know and remember, you know, Dracula, Frankenstein, all that kind of stuff. But they put a twist on it. So what we've got here is Lilith, and essentially what we've got is Dracula and the Bride of Frankenstein, is what this is. However, they're given different names. So this is Lily Mayhew, and this is Vladimir Blood, also known as Professor Blood. So he's basically Dracula, and she is basically the Bride of Frankenstein, who is Mick Mayhew, who is Frankenstein. And there's clearly something going on between them, and she says that her husband is not the man that she married anymore, and so you clearly right off the bat you get the feeling something is up. Like these two are obviously having some sort of relationship, and then we've got Monster Girl, and then we get the introduction of the monster, Mick Mayhew, also, you would call Frankenstein's monster. Really cool design. I really like the design. The art, okay, let's get into we're like 5.5 minutes in here. Let's get to the critique of the art. The art is fantastic, okay? I know I have seen some other artists on Twitter trying to, well, I guess the colloquialism and the term people like to use is dunk on, even though not one of these people would have the vertical leap to ever dunk anything except a donut. Trying to dunk on John Malin's art, which is insane to me because John Malin is a fantastic artist. He was the artist on Jawbreakers, and Jawbreakers looked great. He's the artist on this. This looks even better than Jawbreakers. This is fantastic. And then we get the introduction of... oh, you know what? Yeah, we got more credits. Yeah, let me just do this real quick, too. Crash Landon made the logo for Graveyard Shift. How cool is that logo? That logo is freaking awesome. Dude, Crash, you did a great job. So anyway, this is Van Helsing, which is ironic because, Van Helsing is known as the vampire hunter of lore. And he's got this No More Monsters, and it turns out he's actually president of the United States. So we get a little background information. This is 6 years ago, so we get a little more info where we learn about what happened and how all this came to be. And we see the first meeting between Lily and Blood. We see Mayhew. We see everything going on, and we learn that they're turning dead soldiers, they're bringing them back to life, to make them basically like, they're like super soldiers in a way, but they're also kind of like zombies. They've been mind wiped, so they can be completely controlled. They'll do whatever you tell them to do, and they're also stronger and faster, and they have no moral qualms about doing anything. So you could literally order them to do anything, and they would certainly do it. So you see this one coming out, and I just want to point out now, if Mark, if you are watching this, or John, if you're watching this, and you can give me the heads up, this guy gets mind wiped, and he comes out, and what do we get? Once a Man. Now, when I hear Once a Man, I think of Cobra Commander slowly turning into a snake in the G.I. Joe movie. Please let me know if that actually is what that is a reference to, because that would be freaking awesome. So anyway, it turns out like there's more going on here than we thought. There's a betrayal, and there's an accident, and Mick is mangled and disfigured, and he's gonna die. And you find out Van Helsing is the villain, and this is not exactly a shocker. I'm gonna skip some stuff, and we learn in the description that the characters are subjected to their own experiment that they created, and that they're brought back. They're brought back from the dead, and so then there's a whole thing with that, and then that's how they get their powers. There's so much going on here. I just want to point this page out because I love this page because it's got these crazy sharks, and this thing, whatever the heck that is. It's just really cool. So we get reintroduced to the characters. We learn about them with their powers. We see what happens, how they lived, and what Van Helsing did, how he rose to power. The story honestly is really cool. Like, it's a really in-depth story. It's really got a lot of layers to it. There's these relationships. There's the betrayals. There's all these different things, and it really is a really cool story. Like, really did a great job. And then the Graveyard Shift themselves are this. And by the way, just look at this double page spread right here. The Graveyard Shift themselves are looked upon as villains because of some of the actions that they take after they come back from the dead and have their powers, and when they come back to Earth, because they actually were away from Earth for quite a while. I don't want to spoil anything. I just want to say, like, if you backed this book, you will certainly be happy that you did. You definitely will be happy that you backed the book, for sure. And it was absolutely worth it, and I cannot wait for the next one. Before I move on, there is something that I should... well, you know what? I'm not going to show you, because it's so shocking. I'll let you see it on your own. I was going to talk about it, but I think I'll wait, and maybe I'll do a separate video about it in the future. So we'll leave it at that. And then it's cool. At the end of the book, and I don't want to spoil the ending, so I'm just going to skip. There's like bonus material, so I'm going to skip past that. They show you like working on the characters. They give you some insight into the creation of the design of the characters. They even show you, this is really neat, like it's an old version of the page that wound up in the book, and you can see like a difference in the art and a difference in some of what was shown there. It's definitely cool. And then there's a little more. You show you like the original colors and then what the colors wound up looking like. And then there's some fan art. Definitely some really cool fan art in the book. And so now you know, like, we're gonna go and they give you a little write-up on everyone. There's a big thank you and a we'll see you summer 2019 for Graveyard Shift Book 2, which we already know is underway because they've been tweeting about it and stuff. So that's awesome. So definitely looking forward to that. Now, I'm going to combine this. It's going to be a longer than normal review because I also want to get into this. The little mini comic, the Ashcan, Little Graveyard Shift, Bite-Size Heroes, which was done by Nerd Wonder, did the art. It was written by Mark Poulton. This is fun. It's silly. It's fun. They go to see Cyberfrog, the totally awesome movie, which is just funny. And then they even introduce you to the characters again. It's all in like a chibi style. And it's just fun. It's Van Helsing takes over this candy store, and they have to help get the candy store back. So they do the old like standing on each other's shoulders with the trench coat thing. And then there's even like a battle. It's funny. There's a lot of I'm gonna leave it. I don't want to spoil it. There's a lot of little nods to the other Comicsgate projects in there. And then of course the little Graveyard Shift manages to defeat him, and they get the candy. I'm not really worried about spoiling this one. It's just fun. It's cute. It's a good time. So that's like the really mini quick review of that. So what I will say is, if you backed this project, I'm sure you are happy with what you got, because it is fantastic. It's a great read. The art is fantastic. The story has a lot of layers and a lot of world building in it that doesn't take up... It's not slow world building. It's a lot of action. It's a lot of going. You realize there's a lot of background to this. When they pitched this and they said it's kind of like, what if the Universal monsters were X-Men? They're not kidding. I absolutely could see this turning into a Chris Claremont level X-Men style story with the team and the relationships and the interpersonal dealings between teammates and the enemies and good guys becoming bad guys and bad guys becoming good guys and difference of personalities. I could see so much developing with this. This is really a fantastic idea, and I can see action figures from this, everything. Like, honestly, like anything. I can see this turning into a movie. Like, this is going to be, of all the Comicsgate projects so far, this is the one I think that is just going to explode and take over the world, honestly. Don't get me wrong, they've got to manage it properly, but I do think this is going to be the big one. I don't know if everyone agrees with me, but I think this is the one that's going to explode. This is going to be the first one to get a movie. this is going to be the first one to get. I just feel it. So anyway, definitely recommend. If you didn't get it, keep an eye out for Graveyard Shift Book 2 when they start that campaign, because I'm sure they're going to give you an opportunity to pick up Book 1 along with Book 2 if you haven't gotten it already. So definitely keep an eye out. If you missed out on this one, get the next one and make sure you get like whatever tier it is that allows you to get the first one again so you can read the whole story together, because it's definitely one to watch. I am really psyched about this and looking forward to the next one. So anyway, and I want to say Nerd Wonder, you did a great job. The art is fantastic in Little Graveyard Shift. I love it. It's fun. It's silly. It's cute. And I think it's so funny that like something that's so dark and violent and serious and you know, in this is so silly and funny in this, and it works both ways. That's really cool. It just shows the versatility of the characters there, of what you could do with it. And I like that they allowed that to be. I think that's a really cool idea. So anyway, definitely like the book. Definitely recommend. If you've got it, I can't wait for you to read it. There's a ticking time bomb that is set in here that will go, you know, at least theoretically will go off at some point. Again, I don't want to spoil it. But there's something set in motion in here that will probably take effect in the Book 2 or Book 3 or whatever it's going to be. I don't know how many books it's going to be. So that's it. Really recommend it. Like it a lot. And if you like this video, you could give that a thumbs up. That would be cool. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And follow me on Twitter. I'm at jam_creates. I'm also on Instagram at jam_creates there as well. So that's it. I will talk to you guys again soon. And blow. Peace out.